Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for our beautiful Taurus friends in mid-February? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus. Mid-February, what's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. And I hope you all had a very happy Valentine's Day, my good friends. I got the little heart background here for everyone, showing the love. Okay, so this is a very common way, at least in recent times, for the Taurus energy to really show up. At least for me, where it's kind of like laying low, where it's just doing its own thing in its own lane, which again, that's not a bad thing. It's a theme that I often see with Taurus energy for one reason or another. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. And for a lot of you that may watch regularly, I'm sure you recognize this card. It does show up quite a bit for Taurus readings from week to week. And we have this beautiful woman dressed up in costume. She's got the wig, she's got the fake beak on, and she is amongst this little flock of birds. I'm not sure if they're storks or whatever the heck they are. She's blending in with them. So to me, as already mentioned, to me, this is a lay low type of energy where it's like I'm just blending in. I'm not trying to cause waves. I'm not trying to cause destruction. I'm just minding my own business. That's how this feels. Now, can this also be an energy that's a little avoidant? Not saying you're being that way, but to me, it's kind of hiding, right? Like either it's hiding or it's just doing its own thing and it doesn't want to be bothered for whatever reason. So, of course, we're going to look into it deeper. This could be someone that doesn't want to step on your toes or upset you. That's a good thing. Now, if we put that message to the side, if someone or you're not even in that mode, this card can also link to aesthetics and beauty. And I know Taurus is ruled by Venus, so how something looks and how something feels, like it needs to be a certain way. And this card is really good for that. So this also tells me now it's a great time to work on your look, your aesthetics, whether you want to change something with the wardrobe or how you present yourself or even decorate within your home. Like there's this energy where it's like I have a good eye for beauty. So we're just going to let it chill right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Taurus. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So I thought it was pretty nice. The reading was titled Here They Come, and I was picking up a really strong magnetism from a lot of Tauruses, where like this one is kind of laying low, doing its own thing. The energy last week felt like you were drawing things to you, people, situations. There was a certain magnetism, and it felt kind of peoply. So just keep that in mind. It may linger over for a couple weeks, especially if you're just trying to do your own thing. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Taurus in mid-February. What do we got going on for our good friends here? What do we got? Oh, nope. Yep. Okay, I'll take it. That card like almost came out, then it went back in, then it came out again. Okay. So we got one of your power cards right here on the front. Really like it for you, especially in a Taurus reading. The King of Pentacles is always great. Remember, it's not gender specific. So we will look into that further. Let's get a couple more. Okay. So the peoply, just like I was saying, like whether you want it or not, there's like a lot of other people's energy showing up here for some reason. And they're acting out. They're like not getting in place. Let's get one more here. What do we got for Taurus, please? What do we got? Okay. I feel neutral about it, but we do have the 3 of Swords right here on the back end. This feels like it's an energy that's like bringing it your way, where it's like it's bringing it to you. All right, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, very much air heavy this week. And I always like to look at the elements first. It kind of informs the area of life or how the energy is flowing and moving. And yeah, that's the combo we have. We have air and we have earth. Now, when it comes to the air element, that is very much in its mind. It's a logical, pragmatic, strategic type of energy. For a lot of Tauruses, you might be thirsting for information or knowledge. So it's like, I need to know this, I need to know that, I need to figure this out. So it's extremely analytical. Sword energy is also, if we're not looking at the communication aspect, because it is very huge for that, the downside of it could be it's a little detached, it's a little cold. The energy can be sharp and it can be flighty, right? Whereas like this energy in the front, the earth, it's like predictable and it's solid and stable. Air energy is always moving, always flowing. Air is invisible, right? Most of the time. So we're going to have to see what's up with that. Then we have the earth, your comfort zone, your power element. And it could represent sense of security, sense of stability. It could represent your day-to-day life and day-to-day routine. Earth energy does tie heavily in to money, work, finances, career, investment, stuff like that, home and family matters. So it's like all of that earthly material stuff. The downside to earth energy, sometimes it could be a little stuck. Sometimes it doesn't move as much as we'd like it to move. So we got to see, because there's two extremes in how they present themselves. Where this one is moving too much, this one's not moving enough. So we got to see. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the King of Pentacles. Now, as I said, that's a very good thing for a Taurus reading because that's one of your power cards. Could be another earth sign you're connected to, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I think it's great. And remember, it's not gender specific, but kings to me, and I say it about all kings, they represent control of their respective suit. So all that stuff I was just saying about the Pentacle suit, the King of Pentacles wants to have control over that. So whether it's the money, the work, the finances, the King of Pentacles like has everything on lock. So that's good. This is great for day-to-day routine or switching the routine up because the King of Pentacles does it right. This is an energy of blessings, abundance, stability. So I always say it's a good thing, specifically in earth sign readings. It is. But the downside to the King of Pentacles, if this isn't another person showing up, I mean, the good side, it could be you standing in your power in one way or another, where it's like, no, this is what it is. But the downside, it can be a little stubborn, a little rigid, a little inflexible. So again, I'm not saying that's how you're being, but this is an energy that's averse to change, that doesn't like when things shift or change too quickly. So we'll want to keep a very close eye on this King of Pentacles. And again, in my specific style, I try to keep it simple. So he might just tell us something that's coming towards you or a way you might be feeling, depending on what the clarifier is. Now, moving to the middle, we have the Page of Swords, totally different vibe, where it's like we have a king, which is very authoritative. The page represents youth, it represents children sometimes. This could be an air sign you're connected to. So notice when we go from the king to the page, there's a stark difference, not just in element, but how they present themselves. So if this isn't a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, the Page of Swords, as with all pages, they represent students and messengers. So it's either I'm trying to take information in or I'm wanting to say something. The difference with this page from the other ones, this one's a little more skeptical, right? The Page of Swords is a little skeptical. It's very cautious. It's a little defensive for one reason or another. So some of you might just be extraterritorial and protective of your own peace or what you got going on. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of readers like to call the Page of Swords the Watcher of the Tarot deck. So that tells me either there's something that Spirit wants you to really keep your eyes on, a situation, a person, whatever it might be, or maybe someone's got you under the looking glass. That could be very possible. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Three of Swords, one of the most iconic cards in the tarot deck, right? We got the three swords cutting through the heart. We've probably seen it everywhere. It's not the nicest energy, but it's not the worst. I'll say that. At the very least, it's not the worst. And I always say it's on a spectrum. As with all problematic things and cards, Three of Swords, it could be very minor. There might just be a little gloominess. You might be a little grumpy, or someone might just seem a little off when the Three of Swords is there. But it can also range into like nervousness, anxiety, anger, brokenhearted. So it really depends on what side of the spectrum we're looking at here. The good thing with the Three of Swords is the fact that it's an energy that is not permanent. So it's like not permanent damage. And it's a situation that is fixable and solvable. So we got some stuff going on here, Taurus. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our good friends? Please. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the King. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the King of Pentacles here for my good friends? Please. Okay. Yeah, it's all right. So the energy to me does feel a little stuck in the rut. We have the Hanged Man in the upright. Now, again, for some of you, if you're comfy, cozy with whatever your situation is and you like things how they are, there's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. And I know like a lot of people give some earth signs a little flack about that, where it's like, oh yeah, why you gotta be so stubborn? When I see the King of Pentacles with the Hanged Man, it's like, no, this is what I like. This is what it is, and that's what it's gonna be. So for some Tauruses, you might be putting your foot down about something, or you might just be very set in your ways about like some sort of thought or an opinion or a situation where it's like, no, this is what it is. Like this energy doesn't seem to be flexible. Now again, for some of you that might be problematic if it's a person you're dealing with, where it's like, hey, give and take, right? Two-way street. I give some, you give some. But this energy is just very, very firm. So depending on your situation, you might be standing firm on something, or it could be someone that's a little difficult to work with. Like there's not a lot of wiggle room. Now, if we come away from that message, we talk zodiac signs, the Hanged Man isn't miserable, right? Like we always see the guy hung upside down and we think that it's a bad thing. But notice he's not distressed, right? It's more so like the Hermit, where it's retracted, pulled back. So I still have this lay low type of energy that a lot of Tauruses are showing. But he is also a watcher, right? Just like the Page of Swords, watching, perceiving, taking in information. So there is something here that's like surveillance or viewing something. So keep that in mind. There could be something where Spirit's like, hey, Taurus, keep your eye on that. Or with the magnetism I was seeing last week, and I felt things coming your way, you might be getting a lot more attention than you normally do. You might catch more eyes than you normally do. You might stand out from the crowd more than you normally do, because either it's your eyes on something or someone's eyes on you. That's how it feels, especially with this combination. And there is this strategic energy as well. So keep that in mind. Maybe there's something about a plan or strategy we want to look at. But let's go in on the Page of Swords. Maybe we'll get a little more information there. So yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot that came through. So let's see what the Page of Swords has. What do we got for our good friends? Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse under this Page of Swords. This energy just does not feel very social to me. Um, you know, as I've been saying, I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of people. There's all this energy that's been flowing for a couple weeks now. So keep that in mind. But the Three of Pentacles is usually a card of like teamwork makes the dream work, right? When it shows up in reverse, it's an energy that's a little difficult to deal with. So for some of you, yeah, maybe there is a situation or a problem or a person where it's like, all right, well, what do I do? Like how can I make this work? Or it's like there's an energy about it that seems very clunky. Now, I am a big believer that no matter what the situation, no matter what the problem, there is always a path to make it work one way or another, depending, right? It all depends. But Three of Pentacles under this Page of Swords, if we're not getting this planning, where it's like somebody planning on their own, where it's like, I will do this on my own. I'm planning it of my own accord. I'm not telling anybody about it. That's how this feels. So we do have the planning, but we also have the watching, where it's like, I want to watch, but I don't want to be seen. I don't want to say it's like a spy, but it's like somebody, you know, they want to watch, but they don't want to be seen watching. It's the oddest thing. So like there is this attention getting energy here. There could also be someone that's paying close attention to you that you might not even realize. That could be another thing. There's this observation going on. Let's keep going. Let's see what the Three of Swords has. And now notice we got double threes here too. So we got two court cards. Now we got two threes. Threes usually indicate groups, group dynamics, like lots of people. So let's see what the Three of Swords has. Is it a problem? Is it a resolution? What do we got for Taurus? Thank you. Okay. So there is something that I don't want to say it just resolves itself like poof, but it kind of feels that way to me a little bit. So we do have the Sun. Now, that's one good thing. If you are going through a problem or a situation where it's like, I don't even know what to do about this, there is an aspect of it where it's like, just give it a little time and it's going to do what it's going to do. But there is also a harsher, more intense aspect of what I'm seeing here on the back end. Because, like, we have all this analyzing, and watching, and planning. The Three of Swords and the Sun, the Sun is the best card in the tarot deck, point blank, right? Like, this is the card that represents Leo. So that magnetism I was picking up for you for a couple weeks shows up here with the Sun as well. Uh, but it can also represent revelation, realization, and things and information coming to the surface. So, like, when I see that underneath the Three of Swords, it's like, oh wow, I never thought of it like that. So again, if there is someone that's being a little standoffish or not flexible, they can have a realization or revelation where it's like, oh damn, I never thought of it that way. It's like somebody with a new take on something. I do still see this clunky, possibly problem or situation here in the center that I would take seriously and keep an eye on. But at the same time, it feels to me like time itself can help it because someone might come to a realization about a situation, which I think is okay. Like I like the ending of it. It's just about getting there, and to me it feels like there's certain aspects about it that might be out of your hands. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So very layered, nuanced reading this week, Taurus. But if you kindly look in the box position number one, we got the King of Pentacles with the Hanged Man. Now again, with these watchers all around, for a lot of you might be getting more attention or you might be more noticeable than you normally are, so just keep that in mind. There's also the strong energy around strategy we're picking up in both of these. But this to me feels like somebody putting their foot down and standing their ground about something. So whether that's something you're doing or somebody else, it's not very easy to work with. And again, no judgment here, but the energy is like, nope, this is what it is. This is how it's going to be. It's like very sure about something, which cool. Moving to the center, we have the Page of Swords with the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And to me, it did feel like somebody observing, but not wanting to be observed, where it's like, oh, I want to watch you, but you can't watch me. It's like one of those. It's very odd. Now, again, there could be someone or something Spirit wants you to pay very close attention to, whether it's an important or serious situation, even a problematic thing where it's like, all right, well, even if there's nothing you could do about it right now, keep a very close eye on it. So yeah, there's also this energy that doesn't feel too social. Moving to the back end, we have the Three of Swords with the Sun in the upright. This is something that can potentially resolve itself because I feel like somebody may have some sort of realization or revelation where it's like, I never thought of it like that, where they gain new insight. That's a good thing. But I also have this strong intensity burning. So just know you might have a certain intensity to your inner energy. But we're just going to leave it at that. I mean, there's a good ending here, but let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. Let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got in the shadows for Taurus? Thank you. Another one of your power cards, which I do think is a really good thing. It ties in heavily to this energy we see here right in the front end. Now, the Hierophant, aside from being one of the main Taurus cards here, it represents stability, security, tradition. It can represent power structures as well. Remember, it's a very ingrained type of energy and it's very predictable, which could be a good thing. It's like, yeah, same stuff, different day type of vibe. But the shadow side of this is that, again, it could be very rigid, like we see here in the front end, where it's like, now this energy is not willing to compromise. This energy is not willing to back down. This energy will have its way one way or another. And again, depending on the situation, there's nothing wrong with being that way. For certain cases, like it's good to stand your ground. But sometimes it's good to maybe meet someone in the middle, meet them halfway. Now, I'm not sure if you're dealing with somebody that's being very stubborn, but it is what it is, right? Like sometimes people need to come to these realizations by themselves. And another shadow side of the Hierophant, it can get very bored very easily too. So there's something here about keeping your energy busy. I feel like I could keep talking about that. Treat yourself well. That's another thing, since it's one of your power cards, like self-love, self-care. Don't beat yourself up in this time. But we're just going to leave it at that, Taurus. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be 3, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.